Christopher Priest and George Giante introduce us to a new US agent as John Walker realizes what happened to the missing fuel cell and who took it, as he races to save his old partner Battlestar from certain death. Christopher Priest again does a fantastic job continuing his re-evaluation of John Walker while also introducing us to a new US agent. I quite enjoyed how this new agent doesn't seem to really be focusing on stopping John or have a real big beef with John, but more so Battlestar, and I thought it was thoroughly interesting that they related it back to Lemar being Bucky and how for a long while that was, and still kind of is, problematic. And April calling Lemar out on it was really interesting, since while some could see this new character as a straight up villain since he's beating up a hero, he does have a very valid point, but then so does Lemar, who says that he took the name Bucky in respect for the original Bucky and not what people thought it meant, and how he was a black guy doing the bidding of a white master sort of thing. I really enjoyed the focus on those characters this issue, but also that the book didn't forget to progress the plot at all, and I guess now we know that a helicarrier was buried under the town, something John's insane sister wants for something, which will no doubt be the crux of the final 2 issues of the miniseries. George Giante's work again felt more off in some places, but it also looked like he had a little bit more room to work with this issue, so the faces and disproportionate people weren't as noticeable as in the previous issues. I did however enjoy the US Agent Battlestar fight and thought the paneling was really great and it kept it moving at a very nice pace. US Agent issue 3 was another fantastic installment in Priest's critique on the character and what the symbol he has means to him and others around him, giving us some wonderfully biting social commentary with introduction of a new US agent that I'm thoroughly excited to learn more about in the final 2 issues. I'm going to give this issue an 8.5 out of 10. US Agent issue 3 finds Lemar Hoskins called by Val Cooper, who as the new baby he has begins to cry, learns John was reactivated into Judy, wondering what idiot did that. Val says that it was 2 idiots in Nebraska field office which she's now got working for her. Lemar calls for his wife to come take the baby as Val reminds herself that he got married. Lemar says he was drinking heavily back then and now John won't listen to him. Something Val knows, but he was the man's partner once and she has sent a jet to pick him up. Lemar isn't too pleased, but Val says that she will owe him one. Later in Washington DC, John comes to see Val about his sister Kate. Val asks why she's there since he's not US Agent anymore. John asks thanks to who, but the woman will only say it's just political and he should bend himself a little bit here. John demands to know about Kate, so Val says the woman came to her wanting to follow in her brother's star, and if he wants someone to blame in getting her involved, maybe he should look in a mirror since she didn't recruit her and contract him to deal with the Hicks and Ephraim. Hicks she knows that John has fallen in love with. Val knows that they are calling him the captain, as hours before, John entertains the people with a tractor pull before joining them for dinner in the barn. He tells Val that they are good hard-working people, as John asks her about Maury, asking if he is one of her people, but the woman has no idea who he is talking about, as hours before, Maury ponders if John knows the bacon he's eaten was oinking hours before, and was even named after him. Val asks if Lemar told John that his replacement has been sent to clean up the mess in the town, as John wonders who the new guy is. Val obviously can't tell him since the new protocol is there to keep him a nobody, reminding John that he was fired and for nothing since all he had to do was move those protesters off the beach. John remembers months prior where people were protesting at a US testing range in Puerto Rico, where he stood between them and the heavily armed riot police. John tells the police to calm themselves as his commander tells him to shut this down. John thinks they mean the guards, but the command wants him to end the protesters, despite John wanting to wait them out. Command cuts the comms as John asks the men what the US attorney's problem is, learning it's almost 4 PM and she wants this done before the evening news, thanks to the governor in the area having a challenger in the primary election. John wonders how this means that they shoot people as he asks if the men are FBI or state patrol, learning the riot police is just a mix of fish and wildlife, postal inspectors and USDA code enforcement. John can't believe that these are just glorified meat inspectors with machine guns, telling the protesters that he will have no part in this, letting them know that they need to go home since the men have orders to fire. Someone throws a tomato at him, calling the US agent a fascist, but John continues to say he's just trying to help the imbeciles. The police take John waving his hand at the crowd as a signal, rushing the group as John is caught in the middle of the riot. John, however, hasn't been listening to Val, looking at his sister's ID card and how she didn't dye her hair lavender, she dyed it blonde. He asks about the missing fuel cell, knowing the chemical waste from it is toxic and prolonged exposure to it turns hair lavender. John races out of the room, knowing that that's not all, as the fumes from the cell cause psychosis. John returns though, realizing that Val mentions Lemar, as in Ephraim, Battlestar arrives in the city, greeting the people. In a former SHIELD facility, the new U.S. agent, April Manning, plays piano, remembering a time when he stood up to two youths on the street, telling one of them to pull his pants up. The boy wonders if he's not white enough for the suit-wearing Manning, but he wonders why it always comes down to racism with them, saying mistaking ignorance for culture is what real racism is. The youths think that maybe they should fight the man, asking what his problem is, so the man says that they are grown men dressed like little boys, and they are allowing children to see black men so morally broken and defeated. The gang members advance on the well-dressed man, and in an instant, he has beaten them bloody, pulling the pants of one of them up to where they should be. Manning is soon taken out of his memory by Kate, who joins him, finding it's weird a piano is in the facility. Manning says that it was Fury's and he bought it for him when he lost a round of golf to him. Kate knows that April lost that on purpose, knowing that he wanted the piano put in the facility. Kate helps the man inject his serum, as he says the missing fuel cell is both proprietary and obsolete, and even if they could find another, someone would ask why they wanted it. Kate reminds him that the containment field around the asset is almost gone and they need to move today. Back in Ephraim, Battlestar and Maury are driven out to the Virago warehouse as Lemar knows that whatever John found is classified and there is something big going on there. The truck is suddenly smashed into by a tractor beam, causing it to flip over end to end. The truck was shot by one of the new U.S. agent's men, who says that he'll take it from there. April calls out to Lemar, calling him Bucky, since that's what he allowed them to call him. Battlestar asks who the guy is, so April says that he's been called a saint, but now they can call him the new U.S. agent. Battlestar fights U.S. agent, saying that wearing the star doesn't give him the right to judge others, and he was proud to use the name Bucky and proud of Barnes' service and sacrifice. He says that the word saint and its meaning changes with the times, but many things don't change, like honor and dignity, or the obscenity of a black man being ashamed of his own blackness. April thinks that it's a shame Battlestar thinks that's what's happening here, saying that it's actually rage, and Lemar is bigger and stronger than John Walker, with higher test scores, and yet they made John Captain America. Battlestar kicks US Agent away, knowing that this isn't about casting, and this guy is just pissed at him because they chose Walker. April says that this is about him grinning and shuffling and waving at crowds, all whom were there for Walker. US Agent says that he's an embarrassment to the struggle as he beats Lemar over and over and over, calling him a traitor and a living symbol to their complicity in their own oppression. John meanwhile breaches the SHIELD facility near the town, looking for his sister, but instead finds some dead assassins. The ground begins to shake under him as the heavily injured Battlestar stands, saying US Agent is wrong and he's looking at the world through a veil of hate, and he's sad for his brother. April says the man is no brother of his as Battlestar charges, but US Agent easily grabs the weakened man's arm, snapping it as Maury confronts the agent. Before they can fight, however, they hear a noise as the SHIELD facility nearby erupts open thanks to the helicarrier buried beneath it coming to life. John confronts his sister on the deck, telling her to stop this, but soon the railing next to him breaks open. Kate kicks her brother off the helicarrier, apologizing since the mission and America comes first. The helicarrier takes to the sky as US Agent kneels before Maury, telling his old master that the time to put an end to things has finally come.